And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the another month, another edition of the Fire Cup number 9 group stage. I'm of course SI VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to something a little bit different here. Usually we're covering this event live. A shout out to MindoVK, of course. MindoVK, he has been hosting and organizing this event on a monthly basis for the past 9 months, but unfortunately at the time we were covering the HSL. We were casting the Hispanic StarCraft League playoffs live. Day 1 and Day 2, we were covering those events live. Because of that, we missed out on Day 1 and Day 2 of the Fire Cup. We weren't able to cover both at the same time. We have mentioned before that right now our schedule is, we're overbooked in a way where we have all this casting to do. We cast twice a day, every single day, and we still can't cast everything, but there's just so much StarCraft going on. Like that. There's so much StarCraft going on. So unfortunately, we missed out on covering the Fire Cup live at the time as we were casting HSL, but now we're back to catch up on the replays of said Fire Cup. So here we go. We are back. For those who are curious, this is a monthly tournament. Again, it is organized by MindoVK. MindoVK for quite some time was mainly a player, mainly a competitor, but in recent months he has turned from that into more of a content creator, a caster as well, streamer. Still does compete, still does of course practice and competes, don't get me wrong, but he also does mix in casting and running tournaments as well. And of course this is kind of his event, MindoVK's event I should say, has been quite successful here, bringing together the best of the best players in the CIS region, and we are here to catch up on said group stage. When it comes to the playoffs, we'll be catching up on that in a couple of days, towards the end of the week. Again, our schedule's quite full here, and this is our first/second broadcast of the day. We were live earlier this morning with the Circuito Brasileiro, with the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit, and likewise we're going to be live with that as well. That is going to be in around 8 hours, and around 8 hours. There we go. In 8 hours time we're going to be live with day 2 of the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. Ideally we're able to wrap this up. I'm able to get a couple of hours of rest, a couple of hours sleep, and then bam, we'll be back again 8 hours from this moment with our second cast of the day with the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit day 2. Oh boy. So back to back non-stop StarCraft. Vámonos, papi, let's go. And we have our first series. We have our first matchup of the night. I say first matchup, exclamation, or alas, we don't have that bracket command yet, but switching our scenes over, let's catch up on the matches ahead of us here. Now this is the group stage, and as a result we have a plethora of matches available to us here. We have 6 best of 3s, and we will be starting the night off with Strange versus Nikich. Here we go. Again, the playoff bracket will be held later in a couple of days towards the end of the week, but until then we have a plethora of matches. We're going to be jumping into our first ZVP. Let's go. Let us go. As game 1 is going to be on Amygdala. Also, hope you're all welcome everyone. Hope you're all having a great time in the chat. Baby guy, good to see you all. Good to see you. So Asher bro, redeeming the Bexy map in the chat. I see Psycons, Easy Feel as well. Talimo. No replay. Oh, my apologies. I will fix that. Un momento, papi. Un momento. Save update. And this morning in the bottom right hand corner of Amygdala, we have our red Zerg player, from land of Belarus, representing Alien Esports. It is Nikich. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, himself. He's a little bit different. He's a little bit strange. No, here we go. Strange, of course, he's the reigning champion. He's the reigning champion of Fire Cup number 8. Strange, he had a dominant showing, a dominant result. It was insane to see him just cut a path through players like Wayne, like Young Yakov, Shameless, GG Machine. No one could stand a candle to him. I want to say that Strange, he maybe lost a couple of maps last month. I'm gonna have to double check that actually, but I do recall Strange having a dominant performance, especially with Glaive Adepts. I do recall the finals. I think Strange, like almost every game he went Glaives in some, every game he went Glaives in some way, shape or form, different variations of Glaive Adepts, and he adapted the hell out of Wayne. It was it was not even close. It was no, it it was definitely very relatable. It was a very relatable finals, I will say that, but at the same time very smooth as well. Oh no. And yes, double checking. So Strange, he lost one game in the playoffs last month. One game, and that was one game in the finals against Wayne. So Wayne, he was able to take one game. Outside of that, in the entirety of the playoff bracket, Strange, he just 2-0'd and 3-0'd his entire way through it. It was insane to see the dominance of Strange. And again, Strange, he is a strong player in his own right. We did feature him last year and the year before that in WTL, right? In WTL, he was on Mystery Gaming. Strange, he was always a player that can threaten some of the bigger names out there, 100%. And he's also a player that does often come up with his own builds. He comes up with his own builds. He does play his own style. At times, maybe not even the most efficient of play styles, but very aggressive nonetheless. That's what he's known for. And hey, welcome to another PvZ. I mean, I do expect to see Glaves at some point in the series, maybe even every game again. Oh no. let's go, man. Let's go. I believe Strange did have a bit of a rockier, no, never mind. I was gonna say that he had a rocky performance in the group stage, but no, Strange, he also last month did go 6-0 as well. So like he had it was crazy. But here we go. But now we do have very early Evo chamber. So Hatch got pulled into a third base by Nikich, going for an early Evo chamber. Now Nikich is also known for his mid-game play. He's known for at times some more aggressive styles and more aggressive builds. With this early Evo chamber, this should be for early plus on melee into early Ling aggression. Because this is so early though, typically this is for Ling into Hydra play, but we'll keep an eye on Nikich to see how hard he commits, because he does pull out of gas. So he pulls out of gas really early +1. I'm leaning towards a Ling flood, but we'll keep an eye on our Zerg player. At the same time, going to be a Void Ray opener out of Strange, Void Ray to hunt down the Overlords and to keep Nikich in the dark. Oh boy. Here we go. As the Void Ray has arrived. No surprise here, Twilight Council before Nexus. This tells us that most likely this is going to be a Glaive Adept follow-up. Now again, this is not the earliest of Glaive Adept builds. This does hit a little bit later, but at the same time, if Nikich skips Roaches, well, then he's going to be in trouble. Now, plus on melee is going to help with this. It does mean that the Lings are going to be a little bit more effective when it comes to surrounding and killing Adepts. That is true. And I want to believe that we're going to have a plethora of Lings early on because of plus one melee. If not, again, Nikich is going to be he's going to be in trouble here. Now, you can defend against Glaive Adepts without Roaches with a Baneling Nest, right? If we see a safety Baneling Nest, then we're going to be okay. If we don't see a safety Baneling Nest, I'm very concerned for Nikich. Oh boy. As here we go. Here come the Glaives, here come the Gateways. Now, the way this build works is that because there's no Robo, there's no Warp Prism, so there's no way to reinforce across the map. We're going to be warping in wave after wave of Adepts back at home, banking up Adepts first, and then pushing out across the map. And thankfully, at 4:30, we do have a Roach Warren. So we do have a safety Roach Warren out of Nikich. Nikich, he's not fully aware what's going on. He hasn't seen anything in the main base, not yet. His scout was denied. We do have 4 Adepts shading in. This is standard. This is not a sign of Glaive Adepts. This is just regular Adept aggression. This is normal so far. Everything looking as it should. Lings are being shut down, and they're making their way into the mineral line. Meanwhile, 20 Lings in production. Yeah, Lings, they will shut this down. Adepts, they shade into the main, and they will focus down even more drones. So far, just one though. Just one drone. There's a recall saving to Adepts just barely. Does save 2. And again, we should be reinforcing. Now, because only one drone went down, this means that Nikich doesn't have to re-drone, thankfully, so he can saturate his bases and then focus on his Roach production freely. Roach Warren is done. We have Lair on the way. Gases are now being taken. We have Lings fanning out across the map. And the Lings, if they see all these Adepts, that will be a sign, that will be a tell. And they will. There we go. Big sign, big tell, big scout here for Nikich. Immediately, Roach production has begun. He sees there are more Adepts than there should be. And now Nikich is getting ready back at home. He's getting ready. He can start to wall off his natural if need be. He's got 6 Roaches on the way. Adepts are moving in. And Nikich, thankfully, he has time to respond. Adepts, they shed into the mineral line. Alas, Lings are keeping up. Roach is in position as well. Clutch Transfuse keeping the Roach alive. Adepts, they still trade relatively well against the Lings at least. The Lings, they all just melt. Yeah, Lings go down. Roach is going to be falling. We cancel the shade, focusing down at the Roaches. Getting up to 2 Roach kills. Taking down 2. Now shading past. Does shade past. Catching out. Oh, trying to catch up more Queens. Still no major damage. Just trading against Lings. But that's still a lot of Adepts. And now they finally get some damage out. There we go. 4 or 5 drone kills here at the mineral line. And we're just camping the third base, going for the expansion. Queens, there is one transfuse. Oh, going for the roaches instead. There's a transfuse. Keep the roaches alive. Yeah, one more transfuse available as well. At the same time, Lings, they do get across the map. 5 probes, 6 probes. Oh my god, not bad. They got a couple workers, but at the same time, we finally shade into the natural. It commits. Strange, he commits in. Getting a drone kill so far. Shading in towards the main. Does commit. Late reaction by Nikich. 12-13. This is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Back at home, Strange, he defends. And across the map, he's wreaking havoc. He's still getting more damage done. Adepts once again shading into the natural. Yeah, they do shade in. Boys being pulled. 16. Oh, good. 16 drone kills. And yes, Nikich, he had the tool to defend. I mean, he has all these roaches. He does defend, but at a cost. He was unable to keep up with the shades. He was eventually torn apart. It took a while. It took a while. For the most part, Nikich, he was defending quite well. He was defending nicely. And then the ball started rolling, right? Then it started snowballing out of control. And Strange, he got out of hand. Now Strange has a massive economic lead. 69. Nice. 69 probes against how many? Against 35 drones. Nikich is all in. Nikich, he's completely all in at this point. What do we see? Overlord speed. Overlord speed is on the way. This is a sign of drop lords of a German taxi. Drop lords are on the way, of course. Lings are flooding out. Queen's going to be joining this army as well. And it's all or nothing for Nikich. Either he ends the game or he dies trying. Back at home, Strange, he has a wall of sentries. He's ready with the force fields. Speaking of, he does lock down the army. Yeah, very nice force fields. Locking him down. Delaying the push, shield batteries are finishing, and the Voidray, yeah, can freely attack, can freely just go to town. Can freely move in. Likewise, Biles, they focus down some of the force fields. But last these Mauls are putting in so much damage to the back line. Once again, nice force fields, just delaying some of the Ravagers, so many of them just not doing any damage. Not a part of the main fight. That is Nartosis Pylon, but the Warpin does complete, and now we're up to another Immortal, and we defend. Yeah, Strange, he defends, he shuts us down. He'll move in, and getting on top of the roaches, the Ravagers, the Queens. They take down the Void Ray at least. But now we can micro. Now we can juggle. We can juggle the Immortals. And there's nothing left. There's nothing left here. Nikich, GG. Strange, he will defend. He will survive. He will take game number 1. GG, well played. Again, Strange, he's known for his aggression, he's known for his glaive at play, and we saw that even though Nikich, he had a good start, he was able to preserve his drones, he was able to have his roach warren on time, build up his roaches as well, he was minimizing losses. And then suddenly, if you remember, the moment when everything just turned on its head was when he went for a Ling run-by. You could argue that maybe he distracted himself, but there was like a Ling run-by at the third base, and as Strange was defending, he did shade into the natural, and Nikich was late to react, late to respond, late to pull away, and as a result, he started losing far too much. He lost everything. GG. GG, well played. With that, Strange does take a lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. Let's go. Getting into game 2, and we'll see if Nikich can bounce back. This morning in the bottom right-hand corner of Leylines, we have our red Zurich player from the land of Belarus representing Alien Esports, his new team down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Nikich. Nika. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player leading the series 1-0. It is Strange. The reigning champion here of Firegrow Cup number 8. We'll see if he can once again maintain his crown here in Firegrow Cup number 9. We're still in the group stage, so still a ways away. But he is the, I would say, probably number 1 seed of the tournament. We'll see if he can be stopped. For now, we do have Nikich building up. Hatchcat's Pool looks like a standard opener out of our Zerg player. Now, the question from Strange is not will he adapt, but how will he adapt, Pappy? That's the real question. Oh boy. Don't know if I'm ready for the answer to that, actually. That I'm not so sure about. So now we are moving out. We do have a Strange dipping in, getting full eyes on the main. Just making sure that there's no early pull, there's no early gases, no early shenanigans out of our Zerg player. Likewise, Strange back at home, settling in. Once again, I mean, there are different ways to go into Glaive Adept. So you can, just like last game, we could go Stargate, then into a Twilight Council. We could see Twilight Council opener into like 3-gate Glaives into a fast third base. We can come in into 4-gate Glaives. We can turn this into a 2-base all-in and go into 6-gate Glaives like that. There's you can mix and match for sure. Oh, speaking of, there it is, a Stargate opener out of Strange. So far, it looks like the same opener as the last game. Stargate initially, and something that I do really enjoy here, or something that I do favor from the side of Protoss, is if game 1 you're successful and you did open Void Ray and you were able to actually high tech and be unorthodox, in game 2 to once again open Void Ray and to keep the Zerg player in the dark, to keep them guessing as to what's going on, to again deny vision and potentially go into Glaives again, or even play standard. You can still play standard out of a Void Ray opener. You don't have to high tech, but you can, and you can play some mind games with your opponents. So we'll see if Strange does go into something like Void Rays, or if he goes for an Oracle opener instead. Meanwhile, very early Bane nest out of Nikich. Oh my god, setting up for a Bane bust. He does not pull out of gas. He's staying in. He does pull in. So gas is being mined. This time no Evo Chamber. Nikich, it's time to be the aggressor. It's time to turn the tables on Strange. So the tables are being turned. Lings are amassing already. Nikich, he cuts workers at 21. So 21 drones, that's all there is. That's all he has. And he's flooding across the map. Now, Bane busting is difficult in this matchup, but you see what I see? Exposed pylon. A very exposed pylon here for Strange. So that's going to be the target here for the Bane bust. Again, if this setup was a little bit more secure, and if there was no exposed pylon, then again, it would be difficult to pull this off. But it'll go 5 Banelings on the way. It is going to be a Void Ray opener hunting down the Overlord. Overlord is going to go down. Now there are 2 pylons, so everything will stay powered at the natural. But what's important is that once the wall goes down, then we just flood in. We can just flood in. Lings, they poke on forward. Banelings, they waddle in towards the Adept. We're trying to re-wall up. Banelings, they crash on in, and the wall is broken. Yeah, the wall has been broken. Lings, they flood on forward. They get us around on the first Adept. The other Adept did fall, going for the pylon, and alas, is all the production here for Strange. He has more gateways. No, there's no gateways on the way. He's supply blocked. Oh no! Strange is supply block. There's 1 Oracle in production. Probe's going to be going down. That does break the supply block in a way. But this is getting out of hand already here. Lings, they just eviscerate the economy. 18 probes going to be going down. They flood into the main. Oracle is on the way. The Void Ray doing what it can, but again, Strange, he was vulnerable. He was exposed. Again, that 1 pylon was just such a weak point in the wall. And with 5 Banelings, it wasn't enough. It wasn't up in the end. Boys are being pulled. They will clean up all the Lings, but that's going to be 26 probe kills. And Lings, they just keep on going. Alas, the wall is secure. Strange will hold, and from here, Nikich, he can just drone. He can just drone on up. He is saturating, re-droning, resaturating. Nikich rotating back over. And again, this is all because of the pylon. If there wasn't an exposed pylon, if there wasn't that weak point in the wall, then most likely we would have seen just a different follow-up here. This was a reaction to Strange's setup. There's a PSA out there for Protoss players. What? Wall at? What do you... Not with a pylon, of course. Aye. We kind of will be like hero. As the Oracle does get across the map, will force a cancel on the Spore. Does force a cancel. Gets another, gets a kill, not bad. Gets some damage. Again, Nikich, he's freely droning, freely saturating. Strange behind this. I mean, it isn't just that he has to resaturate all of his workers and rebuild all those probes, but at the same time, he also fully walls, right? Like, there's a full wall here. It's very messy as well, very inefficient. He's gonna have to break this himself later on if he wants to expand, if he wants to try to get a third. We see Strange going for a Twilight Council follow-up. Gateway Explosion. This could be Glaives, this could be Charge, 2 base all in on the horizon, and all Nikich has to do is just drone and get a Roach Horn. Just be safe, drone up, saturate, take gases as well. Nikich, he's free to be quite comfortable here. Does want to take it safe. He does not have a Spore here at the 3rd, which is a little bit concerning. It does mean that there is a bit of a weak point here at his 3rd location, but everywhere else he's fine. Everywhere else he is secure. 1 drone going to be going down. Oracle's looking for more damage. Yeah, workers they pull back, and nice control so far. And it is going to be a 2-base all-in with Glaive Adepts, not with charge. So Glaive's on the way, and gases are being taken. I believe that's going to be 6 gates, and again he has to kill his own pylon. He has to break himself free. Nikich does have 2 layers on the way, so Nikich getting a little bit flustered here. Hopefully he can just take a breath, calm down. Like Nikich, you're in a good position. You're on 3-base saturation. You got 4 gases. It's okay. It's okay, Papi. It's okay. Lings they delay the expansion. Technically, for all Nikich knows, there could be a Glaive follow-ups. There could be something different. There could be Sky Toss on the horizon. True. Could be like a second Stargate into a Fleet Beacon into Carrier. There are options. Adepts, for now, they're going to be spotted. Roaches are already amassing, thankfully. So Nikich is building up his roaches. He's rallying back home. So 6 more roaches on the way. Roach speed almost done. That's strange. He's still warping in. So of course committed. He hasn't really shown his hand yet. Seeing these adepts initially is not a tell that there's going to be glaives. And fun fact, Nikich is actually going into, once again, an all-in. Yeah, he's going for the drop lords. Overlord speed, drop lords on the horizon. This time though, I do feel like Nikich should be a little more successful. This time he does have the greater economy. This time Nikich looking solid. And here we go. Overlords move out, so drop lord as well. Here comes the main crowned army. Nikich, he's droning up behind this, taking gases and getting a 4th base. So it's not, he doesn't have everything in this. Oh, as 1 Ravager gets caught. Did I say 1? Getting 2. Rough start here for Nikich. Adepts will buy some time. They race across. He commits to the shade. It does commit. Lings, they attempt to surround the wiles. Oh, nice connections. They graze the army. They do graze. Army starts forward, catching up with the adepts. Boys being pulled away. A couple drones are going to go down. Shading into the natural. Army's out of position. More drones going to be falling. Drones are falling down. At the same time, Nikich gets across the map, takes down the Void Ray. Ooh, Spire is going to be denied. There's a cancel. Spire is denied. We have +1 air attack on the cheese. +1 air attacks on the way. Drone's going to be falling down. Again, Strange is all over this, and all the mineral lines dealing critical damage, but at the same time, Strange is still more committed. Like, Strange still has a weaker economy. Nikich is still in a decent position. I say that 4th base is about to go down. The power of adepts, they defend back at home, they attack. They're finally going to be dealt with. As we drop into the main. Oh, can we get a transfuse? Not quite. 1 queen goes down. Production gets spotted, and now Nikich now can focus on his push. He's done defending, now he can attack, and the 3rd base should fall. Actually, he just ignores it. Yeah, goes for the kill, goes for the natural instead. Setting creep, setting up queens. Busting on through. There are adepts to defend, but against roaches defensively, these adepts, they do nothing. They do nothing here. Sure, there's a force field, a couple of them, and they get knocked down by the Ravagers. And Nikich, he will break through. Again, off of the Bane Bus, GG gets called, and Nikich ties up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. Does have the series up. We do have a back and forth already here. Nikich doing what many others struggled and failed to do last month. Takes the game. Takes his game off of Strange, and will force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go. Again, Nikich, he did see an opportunity. He saw a weak point. He did see the initial flimsy wall of Strange and did react with a Bane Bust, and he was able to bust on in, bust on through. Didn't necessarily end the game then and there, but he did give himself enough of a lead to just snowball into his follow-up German taxi off of a 3-base economy. Things got a little bit hairy. Things got a little bit frisky when it came to the Glaive Adept counter attack, and things were a little bit concerning there. But for the most part, Nikich, he was okay. It was fine. It was fine, Papi. Everything under control, and here we go. Now we're getting to the ace match, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have our blue Protoss player being forced into the ace match. We'll see if he can bring it back. It is Strange. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player from land of Belarus, representing Alien Esports. It is Nikich. Again, Nikich, he has been on the rise. He's been looking very impressive as of late. And already taking game is a strong start. Strong start for Nikich, and we'll see if we can continue that success. We'll see. I mean, again, a big part of that was just a little bit more reactive as to the Wall of Strange. Here, instead, the pylon is at a more sensible location further back. Is going to be protected this time. So Strange, he has a more secure setup. I mean, especially after the last game, I doubt we're going to see Strange yet take that many risks and cut that many corners. Likewise, scouts across the map confirms the standard opener. And this time there is less opportunity for something like a bait and bust. So we are building up. Likewise, we do see Nikich still just droning, just saturating. He does pull out of gas, so this time he's not building up towards a Bane Bust. This time playing more standard, as he does completely pull out. Does pull out, looking to claim his third. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Strange. Once again, every game so far, we've seen a Stargate opener, and every game so far, it has been a Void Ray first. So we might see a Void Ray again for the third game in a row. We could see Strange mix it up, but in general here, going Void Ray, hiding the build, shutting down Overlords, I mean, it all is in line of the strengths of Strange. So it would make sense for him to invest into Void Rays again for a third time. As there it is, Void Rays on the way. Once again from Strange. Depth is going to be forced back. Zep does take down the tumor, not bad. Does catch a tumor, threatens a shade. And really what we're waiting for here is, do we go into Glaives again? We have gone games twice in this series. Gone Glaives twice in this series. Do we go for another Twilight Council before expansion? Do we expand first? Do we go for, say, a second Stargate? There it is. Twilight Council, Glaive Adepts. Same build that we saw in game 1. It's the same build once again. Now, this time, Nikich, he's not rushing to early pulse on melee. As a reminder, in game 1, we had early Eva Chamber, early melee, and that is a sign of greed. That is a sign of ideally laying Hydra and a more laying heavy composition. Here, there is no Eva Chamber. There's a higher chance there's going to be a safety Roach one, and a higher chance that we're going to be investing a little bit harder into Roaches as well. And there it is. It's going to be a 4:07 Roach Warren timing, so much earlier compared to game 1. Game 1, it was at 4:30. So earlier Roach Warren, earlier gases here, faster droning, better saturation for Nikich. Ideally leads into a more robust Roach army in the mid game. That's all well and good, but we'll see if we can keep up with the Adepts. Lings, they poke in, they threaten the third. Oh, they get us around, not bad. First Adept is going to fall. Gets one. And going for another, but last Void Ray will defend. Adepts, they threaten a shade. Queens, they do keep up. Going for the lair. Roach production has already begun. As Adepts, they threaten the third. He's trying to keep up with the shades. Just trying to keep up. As larva goes down. Nothing major, just some larva. Ooh, this I was not. Wait, whoa. Hold on. As Adepts, they back off. Now, a couple of things. Strange, he saw the Roach Warren. True, he did see the Roach Warren. He cancels Glaives, goes into Blink, into DTs. So Strange, he does adjust based on the opener, based on seeing the early Roach production. He gets the hell out of Adept Aggression. He's not committing, not this time. Going into Blink instead. Now, something to bear in mind here is, yeah, late forge. Very late forge, so late upgrades for Strange. This blink-based follow-up is going to be a little bit faster, and he can be active on the map a little bit sooner, but the upgrade is going to be lacking here for Strange, especially compared to his opponents. But the Dark Shrine is going to be a bit of a twist, a bit of a turn, and that may pop off. I'm a little bit concerned here. Thankfully, there should be spores in position. There we go. Spore in the main, spore at the natural as well. No spore at the third. That is a concern, as the Dark Shrine is done. Now, it's going to be a little bit of an awkward DT build here. The reason why I say awkward, remember, there's no robo. Oh, wait, no, he did build a robo. Never mind. He's warping in DTs defensively, though. What I was about to say is that with this build, there was a no robo, so there's no warp prism, there's no way to harass across the map. There is a robo, but there's still no warp prism. Like, we're not doing anything with the robo, and we just walk them across. We just walk them across. Now, this tells me that the DTs, they hit very late. They hit very late, but there is no spore. There is an Overseer, thankfully, at the third location, and the Overseer will confirm that our Templar, Nikich, he doesn't react. Yeah, doesn't react, does not notice. DTs, they make their way in. Yeah, they're getting into the mineral line. The Overseers are across the map. Back by DTs trying to find some more damage. They're going to be shut down in the main. Meanwhile, here at the third, they do get a queen. We got one queen so far. They target down some workers. 2 queens fall. 2 queens, 6 drones. This will be cleaned up. But decent damage here by Strange as he goes back into the main. Oh, and he gets 10. He gets 10. 11 drones. 11 drones for what? 2 Dark Templar? Sorry, 3 Dark Templar. Not bad. Back at home, Strange building up his forces. Now, we are getting into the mid-game here. Unfortunately, Nikich, he is behind economically. He has to re-drone, resaturate. His 4th base is very delayed as well. That is a concern, as the 4th base is very late for Nikich. And he's taking up and he's rushing into Hive. Ugh. So the problem here, rushing into Hive and rushing into Lurkers, I'm assuming he's trying to rush into Lurker tech, is all well and good. The problem, though, is that because of the late 4th base and because of all the dead workers, his economy isn't looking ideal. His economy is still building up, it's still getting there, so we'll see what he's able to accomplish with this Hive. He can maybe rush into early Vipers. True, early Vipers, they have their place. But there's no Lurker Den yet. No Lurker Den for the time being. Nikich is being active. He moves out towards the third, getting ready for a run by. We do see Strange out of position. Strange's army is spotted. Lings, they do bust in. Roaches as well, going for the cannon. And it does go down. Cannon goes down, a couple of rogue kills at the same time. We do see DTs hitting the 4th base, and Strange, he just commits, he just doesn't care. Oh, and it's not for Vipers, he's going for Lurkers, but again, this Hive is, in a sense, early. The Lurker Den is late, he just didn't have the money for it. So Nikich, he invested into a Hive, and he's not able to take advantage of it. Like, there's nothing coming from said Hive. Void Ray goes down, nice force fields, locking down some of the roaches. Back at home, DTs, they defend defensively. There was no detection, no Overseer. So DT's defend and Strange is moving in. The boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled. Barely any roaches remaining. Meanwhile, the expansion was denied. That's going to be a kill, not a cancel. And we're diving on the Hydras. Yeah, Strange, he dives on the Hydras. He blinks on forward. Nikich, he's being broken. Again, boys are being pulled. They all go down. There's still 2 Immortals left. They had a bit of a desperation move here from Nikich. He's trying to hold on desperately. But there's just too much Protoss. There's too much Protoss here. Breaks through the roaches, gets on top of the Hydras. The slow lots, they're coming in. God. The slow lots, they're terrifying. As the base is gonna fall. Likewise, no detection. There's a DT catching reinforcements. And these are losses that Nikich just cannot afford as more Hydras do go down. Immortals, they do deal with the expansion. And Strange going for the kill, going for the natural. He was sniping the Roach Warren. Roach Warren goes down. Army moves in. GG gets called as Strange snowballs out of control, and Strange, he will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Strange with some twists and turns here in game 3. Again, he was initially going into Glaives before his third base, and then he did hard switch into Blink Stalkers after he saw the early Roach production, so a good transition there by Strange, just pivoting away from his Adepts into Stalkers instead, which did scale better into a longer game against Roaches. Likewise, going into DTs at the same time. Unfortunately, there was no Spore at the third base, and even in the main, we saw Nikich struggle to defend the DTs. They just got so much damage done. They did pay for themselves. They also delayed and they stifled Nikich. Nikich, he was trying to rush into the Hive. As we mentioned, he was investing into tech, into upgrades, into mainly tech that just didn't come into play, right? He invested into Hydra upgrades, into the Hive, into the Lurker Den, but alas, Strange, he was able to strike before any of that came into play. Likewise, fourth base was late. Fourth base also never got up and running for even larva or even production. So last Nikich, he was caught off guard, he was caught out, and with that, Strange takes the first win. GG. GG, well played. He will take the first win here, and that leads us into our next game. That leads us into our next series, into another PvZ featuring two very different players, Art and Young Yakov. Let's go.